I want to start off by saying I am a military veteran, so much doesn't scare me. But this is a true story that happened a while back and is still something I am traumatized by to this very day. Many years ago, I decided to go on a camping trip with my brother and my good friend Andrew. Andrew's uncle had a property in the mountains about 45 minutes from where we lived, so we decided to go there and find a spot on his property to camp. After arriving to his uncle's house, he allowed us to camp about a mile behind his house, since it was a clearing that would prevent fires. Upon leaving, a friend of Andrew's uncle stopped us at the door and informed us that there has been an unusual case of missing people within the last year or so. He told us to be extremely cautious and careful, and that the local gas station has a board with all the missing people's pictures posted on it. He told us that this side of the foothills used to be a ceremonial ground for Native American tribes, and that police recently found a couple who went missing while hiking and were utterly mutilated. Since then, rumors began to spread about a native ghost tribe. Being gullible 16-year-old kids, we believed this and were obviously frightened, but we decided to set up camp anyways. The day goes by and we finish setting up our tents as the sun starts to set. All three of us sat around the campfire until we started to get tired and went to lay down inside the tent. By this time, my brother had fallen asleep. Andrew and I, on the other hand, were still awake. We were quietly chatting, quiet enough not to wake up my brother, when suddenly we heard what sounded like footsteps near our campsite. Andrew reached for a gun we had that his uncle gave us in case of mountain lions or snakes. He unzipped the tent and stepped outside. Suddenly, the steps became louder, as if they were running straight towards us. Andrew fired a shot into the air and the tracks immediately went quiet, as if whatever it was just disappeared. Andrew crawled back into the tent, and we all tried our best to sleep. The following morning, we talked about it, coming to a conclusion that it was probably just a coyote or a small mountain lion. The day passed and we had all been exhausted from the night before, so we decided we were going to turn in early. Andrew explained to us that he wanted to sleep at his uncle's house tonight, but assured us that it was alright for us to stay up here. My brother and I decided we would camp out for one more night and return home tomorrow. Waving Andrew goodbye as he walked down the crude path, we crawled into our tent and laid down. After about 30 minutes, I started to hear something in the distance. I couldn't believe my own ears. I heard drums. As if someone was using a primitive deerskin drum. My brother turned to me and whispered,
"I'm not trying to scare you, but do you hear that?"
I responded with,
"Yeah, drums, right?"
He immediately responded with,
"We should go."
At this point in time, I started to hear those familiar footsteps again, but it sounded like there were more than one of whatever visited us last night. These footsteps began to circle around the tent, and we began to hear low verbal humming, grunting, and chanting. My brother and I looked at each other and began to count down from 5.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Before we hit 1, I darted out of the tent with my brother immediately behind me, running through a moonlight path. The tree smacked us in our faces and thorns caught on our clothes as if they didn't want us to leave. We had nothing but pure instinct leading us towards Andrew's uncle's house. When we found ourselves back at his uncle's house, they were outside, gathered around a fire, staring at us. His uncle called out to us,
"What's wrong? You guys look like you've seen a ghost."
We were at a loss for words. We were still catching our breaths, sweating profusely and panting like dogs. After catching our breaths, we explained to them what happened, but none of them believed us and began to laugh at our story. Now, being older, we spent a lot of time in the inner woods doing extensive camping trips. And we still have yet to experience anything remotely similar to that incident. Every time my brother and I talk about this, we both relive the fear that we experienced years ago, both of us unable to fathom what really happened. Thank you for watching this till the very end. This story was submitted to me through email. If you have your very own story that you would like to be read and animated, feel free to contact me through email. You can find my email in the About section on my channel page. I hope you are doing well. I have heard about the situation in the States, and honestly, I am quite speechless. It seems as if the world is getting bleaker by the day. But please, whatever the case may be safe, stay safe, and act accordingly. Try not to be easily influenced by the environment around you. I really hope things will be resolved peacefully. Until next time.